thought forms is what this is all about. How well can you project your own thought forms? Now, when it comes to one's ability to really make the thought form work, you have to keep in mind that, again, a lot of people would look at this as a waveform function. They see me dragging the energy from in or outside and bring it inside and causing this to move. But I can't stress to you enough that it's digital oriented. This is the reason why I get those immediate exact results. I'm taking the energy too, okay? So on a waveform level, you can actually project outward like that and go, and then you get a blast and some sort of a big magnificent boost because you're actually pushing and ejecting. But as you're pushing and ejecting, that energy is literally just going right into these grids that are going through this particular thing. And then those grids become energized, and because they become energized and they have, the atomic structure is actually being sped up. And as the atomic structure speeds up, then you have more energy, and then it just creates and manifests the movement. It's a matter of programming. It's a matter of will. Will and programming. Look at the ever so slight changes. Watch. Okay. Now keep in mind, before when I was just sitting there talking about it, I wasn't putting as much attention into it. Now that I fell silent for a second and then just started playing, it started doing everything to my every single move. Well, and I guess it still was even before, but not as prevalent. Okay, so important stuff again. Thought forms. Keep that in mind. All kinetics, including and pretty much especially aerokinesis, is based upon your will, the will of the object, or the will of your environment, and whether you're cooperating. You're in a cohesive effort between one party to the other to make the movement occur. Take a look at this. He wasn't really doing much when I was talking about it. Okay, and I'm sitting here making these slight movements now, and it is reacting to every single maneuver. So, getting control over your thought forms, getting control over how your own mind operates, understanding anatomy, understanding the sciences, understanding mathematics, all these things play a huge role in determining how successful you're going to be at this. And then, of course, the amount of dedication and practice you put to it. Just merely taking and ejecting your energy, for some people that may be enough. But when you have an understanding of how it all operates, then that alone adds to the amount of wisdom and access that you have in order to be able to play with such things. Okay? And the other thing is keep in mind that when you're doing this, you are playing with the fabric of space and time. You're playing with the fabric of creation, which means you best be harmonious and loving when you're doing it. A lot of people out there think that it'd be a good thing and a good time to control other things just because they can. And a lot of people like to gravitate towards the idea of controlling other people, which I find to be a universal no-no. So, the other thing is if you have to do rituals, if you have to do spells, if you have to draw pentagrams in the ground, and if you have to do all these other things in order to achieve this, then you are going through false means to do it. Amazing. It's amazing how the world operates. Daniel just pulled up and happens to honk right at that last punctuation mark. Alright, so what I'm doing is I'm just using the air from the outside, pulling it right in here. So, what I want to explain about aerokinesis in general is that we're working with thought projections. No matter what, it's a thought projection. Okay, so there's certain things that you can do with how you project out your energy. Now take a look. Get this relatively stable. If I want, I can come in here and then create these tiny dynamics. Now keep in mind I just moved my hand this way. This is the area where the wind is actually coming in. Okay. Here. So you can see. So I'm just using the open source there. Oops. Now, let's see if I can actually even get a better. I don't know if that's going to work as a view. I don't know how much you'll be able to see in terms of movement, but I'll check it out in a second. So anyway, you can clearly see that my movements here are creating these specific results. There's nothing that's coming in through here. I've got absolutely no fans within the area, so here you can even look from this way. This might be a better viewpoint. Alright, now 1 second. So as you can see, I'm using this as the means to bring in the energy, the air. Okay, so I'm using certain pawing effects. Now these, again, like I was talking about, are thought forms. So by my even thinking about coming in here, I create a thought form which allows this to enact. Remember, you're programming a matrix around you. This isn't so much about the waveform as it is about the digitality. Okay, so I'm basically projecting in my preferences. Take a look. This isn't something where I'm waiting for the wind to happen. You can see completely that this is going to work with my every move and how I'm moving with it. Now this is pretty simplistic, so I'm just using the plastic that I actually coat my windows with here. Okay, so I have to coat my windows during the winter because it gets really cold and these are not energy efficient. Okay. Now I wanted you to see that this actually fell dead right there. There's nothing coming in unless I create the thought form which allows it to happen. Okay? Notice when I start to get close, its behavior changes. Okay? All because this is intentioned, formatted, or oriented. So the intention, just by creating the intention alone of wanting this to move, it'll start to create the movements that foster that. Okay? And I've worked with my own preferences long enough to where I can create and get the exact results that I want, how I want, because I've been doing it for X amount of time. So now what's good about this is that I'm actually having to pull energy in, or air, from the outside to the inside. Okay, so I'm having to create the current that I want in order to get the effects that I'm getting. Okay, so as before, I was sitting there kind of flushing and pushing out and then making this come completely up. Okay? Now, I'm just doing exact maneuvers that's showing you that there's intention and format behind it. Now keep in mind, I'm not even moving my hand now, but I can still make it go back and forth. Now I'm going to hold it like this. So I'm definitely not creating it by going like this. That's a whole different scenario. See, I can sit and push from way back here and get those same results. It's not blowing with my mouth because I'm sitting here talking about it right now as it goes and as it happens. So, this is a highly simplistic experiment, but at least it shows you a direct interplay between the person, the energy field, and how it's affecting this movement here. And again, like I was saying, it's not where I'm at because I can do it from anywhere. But this really helps to illustrate just having my hand in that close proximity and then doing things like this, going back and forth.